Meeting of the Iowa State University Student Government Senate to order at 6 p.m. We will kick off the night with roll call as normal, starting off with Senator Ogba, Becker, Bruick, Burks, Dre, Eisma, Engelken, Frencher, Hackbarth, Heidenreich, Holiday, Coalhouse, Bueller, Mahoney, Mays, Moscar, Momini, Patel, Schnepp, Shaj, Slade, Slater, Tansey, Thornton, Tepete, Vo, and Yonting. With that, we do have quorum tonight, so we will move into the Pledge of Allegiance led by Speaker Mahoney. The flag of the United States of America, public for which it stands, one nation, God.
We will now move into open forum. Open forum is a time for students and members of the student body to come bring issues of matters of importance to them to Senate. If you are here for open forum tonight, please approach the podium, state your name and your major, please.
Howdy, y'all. My name is
Senators, if you can please put your laptops down.
Hello, everyone. My name is Jaden Arch. I'm a senior in Global Resource Systems and Horticulture. Jacob and I got an email just the other day from the Associate Provost, Dr. Anne-Marine Vanderzayden, and the topic was concerning the class scheduling times moving forward in coming semesters. She wanted us to gather just some ideas and the consensus of our peers, you guys. And so I wanted to talk about that quick, and then I'd love to open it up to any thoughts that you might have that we could share back with the provost office, and then we'll kind of do like a raising of the hands to take a little poll. But the big thing is kind of whether we stick with the class scheduling time that we have now or go back to it was pre-COVID. And so like what that looks like is your classes would start, like pre-COVID would start at 8 a.m., and then they would get done at 8:50. They would start on the hour like that for your Monday, Wednesday, Friday classes. How it currently is classes start at 7:45, and then they would get done at 8:35. And so it has that 15-minute gap that we currently have in between your normal Monday, Wednesday classes, whereas the old way to do it was a 10-minute gap from like that 8:50 to 9 a.m. Start class time. And so that's kind of the big thing. She included some different pros and cons to the different options, and so I just wanted to share those with you now. And so the current method we have with starting our Monday, Wednesday, Friday classes at 7:45 is you obviously have that extra 5 minutes to travel from class to class, wherever that might be. You have extra time after classes to talk with professors if you have any burning questions or any topics that you wanted to just follow up with. And then kind of the con is that classes are starting 15 minutes early. But then on the flip side of that, with the starting early, you have to think about late night classes as well. And so since we're starting that 15 minutes early, we pick up 5 minutes during lunch. Our night classes are now getting out 20 minutes earlier, so students are able to go home 20 minutes earlier. I know like pre-COVID, night classes typically ended at 9 o'clock. But those classes now, because of how scheduling runs, get out at 8:40, and so those students are able to go home earlier. The old way of doing it, obviously, they would get out at 9, but then you would start classes at 8. And so, I mean, with the pre-COVID class scheduling times, it's basically the opposite. You have 10 minutes of travel time, and so that just means reduced time of getting places. If you wanted to talk with your professor or anything. And let me double check, I'm just covering everything. And then so then with the, like a con for going back to the pre-COVID class scheduling is also just if any, like concerning the professors, if they had child duties, if they had to drop those children off at daycare, it also starts their day earlier as well. And so that's kind of the general synopsis. If there's any questions from anyone, I would love to take them if I can answer them, or any concerns that I can write down and then include with our recommendation to the provost office. But if there is none, we will just kind of do a little hand raising of staying at the way we are with starting classes Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 7:45, or starting classes at 8 a.m. Monday, Wednesday, Friday. We'll start with Senator Thornton.
Will the general student body have a chance to give their feedback on this?
So I do believe this is kind of that time when they're kind of getting that student feedback. I have her email pulled up right now, just to double check. And it does look like she is just, that I know of, she's reaching out to us to kind of get our thoughts. She may have reached out to other larger student organizations as well. I'm not aware of that. But from what I know in her email, it was just to us.
Okay, and do we have an idea of when the window of feedback closes?
I have to get an email back to her Monday, September 26th, so this coming Monday.
Okay, thank you.
We'll just go down the line with Senator Kohlhaas.
One thing you didn't mention that I think should be important is SciRide. I was here pre-COVID, and 5 minutes less means 5 minutes less of SciRide, and I know Orange 23 when it comes every 5 or 10 minutes. Having just that one extra bus makes a huge difference when it comes to getting around the campus. So I would note that down and look at that.
I'm writing that down, thank you. Speaker Mahoney, or Acting Chair Mahoney.
I would just say, let's be real, we all hate 8 a.m.s anyways, so what's the difference between 7:45 and 8, in my opinion, at that point? But the extra 15 minutes to get across campus is, extra 5 minutes, I should say, is huge. I know before COVID and before that changed, there were times I'd be in, McKay, and I had to go all the way to Howe, and I just straight up can't make that in 10 minutes. Even I'd have to have my bike. In winter, when I'm walking, it's just not tenable. So that extra 5 minutes actually lets people get to class on time when they have to, hike literally a mile across campus sometimes. So I think it's just pretty obvious to stick with 15 minutes so we can actually get across campus in time.
Vice Speaker Bruick.
I think I kind of want to echo and kind of build off of what Senator Thornton's questions were kind of talking about. I have, I think I have opinions, and I think they have been and are being expressed kind of where I'd stand with regard to this decision, but I'm concerned that there's a considerable viewpoint that we may not be aware of. We were not aware that we were going to be giving feedback on this until you came up here and started asking us questions about it. And I don't think I don't mean to blame anyone for that, but I don't think that we've had any time to make some come to an informed decision about this. And there's a lot of student viewpoints that, maybe I haven't had a class before 10 in 2 years. And I've never had a class past 5:30 as of this semester. So I can't speak for what the differences are for people who have classes at 8 or 7:45, or who go out and have classes till 9 or 8:40. And I'd never spoken or thought I needed to speak to anyone with that. So I guess I'm concerned that this is not an adequate period for an adequate feedback route right now. And I guess I just would hope that more is done to take in student feedback than just this right now. So I don't know if you can include that with the response, but that's my big concern right now.
Gotcha. Yeah, I did look at the timestamp. I received this at 9 a.m. this morning. Mm-hmm. And so, if anyone wants to talk with your constituents, I'll be sending that email hopefully later Monday. If anyone wants to give me more feedback from where you guys reach out to. We'll go with Senator Keeler.
Yeah, just kind of echoing the same thing. The 15 minutes to get between classes is definitely really important. There's an individual in one of my classes, he's in my group, and he's a couple of minutes late every day, and that's with the 15 minutes, so he'd be theoretically 5 minutes more late. And I guess just I have a question, more of a clarification question. You said you have to get back to this person September 26th. Now, is this like all the feedback that the student body will be able to give, or is this just like some sort of like initial stage of feedback?
For sure. So like I said with Senator Thornton, I'm not sure if this is the extent of their outreach to the student body. I guess I was just given the email this morning. In years past, when there have been different, like the scheduling changes, this was almost dating back to 2015, but then it was brought back up again in 2019, obviously with the pandemic. There was a whole list, I mean, I could rattle them off if you want me to, she has them here, of different organizations that were involved in this like task force of coming up with the response that they did with the starting 15 minutes earlier. So I know this isn't a matter that they're just kind of taking up in their own office. So I would feel safe to assume this isn't their only outreach, but I can't confirm or deny that.
Okay, thank you very much. I yield.
Senator Mays.
I don't know if that's, there we go. I didn't go to Iowa State when it was only 10 minutes, but especially considering, I feel like nowadays every single person I know has at least one class that is in a building all the way across campus that doesn't really have like a super easy way to get from SciRide to and there quickly. And I feel like if you changed it from 15 to 10 minutes, that'd just be even worse for those people especially. But I also do think that it would be really important to get something out to as many students as we can, whether it's like a mass email to students with a Qualtrics and just asking for feedback. I feel like that would be the simplest thing to collect data on that and see what people think would be the best thing. Because I feel like, I mean, coming into next year probably too, most of the students at Iowa State, unless they're seniors or grad students, will not have ever experienced 15-minute passing periods. And I feel like it's hard to form an opinion on that when you haven't really experienced it. All I know is in high school I had 10-minute passing periods, and that was one building. So I don't know how 15 would be feasible at all for a giant campus.
Is there any objection to doing so? All right, they've been added.
Yes, Becca.
Yeah, so we did have one of our professors, you were there, where he was saying that the professors had been asking this lady to like move the dates back or the times back, and for some reason they were keep saying no. So I feel like there is some justification for why they would tell all of the people that work here, no, this is better for students. So while, I mean, it's important that we ask for students, if the deadline is Monday, we're probably not going to collect very good data. So I think we're safer leaving it than like drastically changing it, and then people would be more upset than if nothing changes and they don't know that it could have changed.
So seeing no more discussion, if we could do just an informal raising of the placard, I'm just going to take a quick tally. If you would support and this is your personal basis, support starting classes how they did pre-COVID, starting at 8 a.m. On Monday, Wednesday, Friday, raise your placard now. All right, and then starting classes at 7:45 with a 15-minute passing time. And then just for, if you had no opinion on the matter, just so I can get a cumulative number. All right. With that, I will take the reins back, but thank you so much. Alrighty, let's move into adopting tonight's agenda. Is there a motion to do so? It's been properly moved and seconded to approve tonight's agenda. Is there any objection to? Vice Speaker Bruick. It has been moved and seconded to amend tonight's agenda as reflected on the screen. Is there any objection to doing so? Seeing none, the agenda has been amended. Is there an adoption to, or a motion to adopt tonight's agenda? Is there any objection to doing so? Seeing none, tonight's agenda has been adopted. We'll go on to approval of last meeting's minutes. Is there a motion to do so? Is there any objection to approving the minutes of last meeting? Seeing none, the amendment or minutes shall be approved. We'll now move into committee reports, starting off with rules and Speaker Mahoney.
Pretty quick rules meeting this week. We saw the nomination of a Supreme Court Justice, Charles, back here. We'll have a bill up for him in just a little bit. That passed favorably, you see, through Rules Committee. We also started having some discussion about how we want to do our, normally we are charged with doing contract review as well as bylaw review. We started having some conversations about how we want to undertake those duties and what it's going to look like with the fact that we have the Budget Review Task Force and the big bylaw rewrite project. So we're starting to kind of work towards those and figure out more of the logistics about how we're going to work on those.
Any questions? Any questions for Speaker Mahoney? Seeing none, we'll move on to Finance Committee with Director Claiborne.
Our meeting yesterday, we had no bills, but we did start PNC review. So we delegated parts of PNC for each senator and at-large, and then our nonprofit coordinator. And then we also are starting to finalize our PNC condensation for our treasurers when they come in, and then kind of how we want to lay that out so organizations can kind of have an easy read. And then our other funding resources that aren't from student government. We have a lot of great resources, and those will be finalized next week. And then hopefully after they're finalized, we'll put them on the website. So if anyone does have any funding requests that we can't give them, they can also have that document, and then also they can access it through the website. And then we have a funding bill for first read tonight. Ask questions to Senator Patel and Senator Yonting because they met with the Pakistani Student Association. I'm also here, obviously, but they kind of know a little bit more about it than I do. But other than that, I hope everyone is enjoying the not 90-degree day, because I know I am.
Any questions for Finance? Seeing none, we'll move on to PR Committee with Director Grindsteiner.
Hello, everyone. Today we will be having a bill to confirm Sundar into the PR committee. Please ask him good questions. He'll be a great aspect for the marketing subcommittee with Maddie Willits. Our mass email got approved by student engagement, so we will be sending the improved mass email to ITS for approval and send out. Newsletter will be released at the end of the week, and the welcome back recap video will be released at the end of next week. Just to put it on everyone's radar, homecoming is quickly approaching. StuGov will be participating following our outreach goals that we have lined up. I just want it to be on your radar. It is the first week of November, so try to keep your calendars clear because that's going to be a lot of outreach and a lot of volunteers that we'll need. Additionally, Outreach Week will be taking place the first week of October. In case you don't know, Outreach Week is a week dedicated to student government coming together as a whole and focusing our efforts on outreach. Director of Outreach Haas will send more information out soon, but please be on the lookout for this in email. Thank you.
I had a question quick. Is there a potential outreach thing with Sub this Friday?
There is. We have an outdoor movie this Friday for Jurassic World. So if you would like to help set up for that, do some outreach there, get your outreach credit in. You can ask me and I'll send you some of the information for that as well, but it's just a great way to just go out into the community.
Are there any questions for PR? Seeing none, we'll move on to Diversity Committee with Director Malowski. Is there anyone from PR? Yeah, Obi.
So with the town hall is currently in the works. We're currently in communications to reserve the Cardinal room for a day, or in the second or third week of November. Andrea is taking leave, so if you have any specific questions, direct them towards her. We plan to do catering, icebreakers, and the normally scheduled town hall. Campus DEI committee. Mary and Vi have scheduled meetings with different heads of DEI committees from different colleges throughout the campus. We will be having a Black homecoming from October 30th to November 5th. Black student organization executive meetings have planned and are going to be requesting funding. Also, if you don't know anything about what Black homecoming entails and want to know more, please reach out to Mary, and she'll send resources and information. And outreach, there will be continued outreach with identity and culture-based student organizations. And in the month of October, DEI plans to attend as many club meetings as possible to continue building relationships and solidifying communications.
Perfect. Is there any questions for Diversity Committee? Seeing none, we'll move on to SI with Senator Mays.
Okay, the biggest update I have is so the trivia that we have this coming Monday, it just finally got fully through event authorization, so we should be hopefully posting that soon. We have a graphic made and everything already. I'm gonna send it to the student government group chat on Teams, so if anybody wants to share it around. It's gonna be Monday in room 3580. I think that's the Pioneer room, I don't remember. 3580 though, the MU, and it's from 6 to 9. So if you want to come play trivia, we're gonna be giving out prizes, gift cards, and please invite anybody that you can. It would be really awesome to have a good turnout. And if anyone has any questions about that, just let me know.
Any questions for SI? Seeing none, we'll move on to Local Affairs Committee with Director Garman.
Evening, everyone. Local Affairs Committee met for the first time last week. I would say that it was a very successful meeting. We did a lot of brainstorming about different things that the committee can do throughout the year, but also specifically trying to gear up and find some topics that we can further discuss with City Council when we have our joint meeting, hopefully on October 26th. Tonight, I have someone up to fill an at-large position. He's very qualified, so I'm excited to hear all of you guys hear his qualifications and his ideas for the committee. And then as far as City Council goes, one of the biggest things that we're kind of working on and start taking public input on is the renaming of the Ames Airport. But that's all I've got. Thanks.
Any questions for Local Affairs? Seeing none, we'll move over to Sustainability Committee with Director Vanderkamp.
There we go. So we met for the first time yesterday for the Sustainability Committee, and we officially established our subcommittees. So this year we are focused around waste, resource management, and then education and outreach. So if you hear any of those general areas applying to something you're interested in, feel free to reach out to us. I'd love to help you guys. It's better if we work together rather than our silos. So even if it's something you just want to pinpoint and just want other input on, feel free to reach out. Looking ahead, Campus Sustainability Month is next month. At the very last week of October, we'll also be doing some events related to that. So look for more information in the coming weeks. Our committee meetings, if you would ever like to attend or just sit in, will be from 5 to 6 on Tuesdays in Parks Library. And then I'll be typically in the Senate office on Fridays. So if you ever want to talk more on sustainability related things, feel free to see me on Fridays. And then lastly, because we do have a committee, Green Initiatives Fund applications, we will greatly take those. So if you know of any committee, if it's related to environmental sustainability, but as well as DEI, so social sustainability or economic sustainability, please tell them to submit applications, as well as if you have questions about that, reach out to me. We have a lot more money than we know what to do with, so please, we would love to give it all out to very deserving students and student organizations for projects.
Are there any questions for Sustainability Committee? Seeing none, we'll move on to Health and Wellness with Director Everest.
I turned it on the first try. That was really exciting. So the biggest thing is all of my senator seats on my committee are full. So thank you to everyone who applied, and congratulations to those who are sitting on my committee. We have our first meeting with just senators on Monday. We're going to get a couple projects that I have underway. I'm waiting for the mass email to go out before I start seating some at-larges. I've gotten some responses, but in the sake of fairness, I'm going to wait until the mass email goes out. And then tomorrow from 11 to 2 on the Campanile lawn, I can't remember if it's north or south, but if you know where the Campanile is, you should find it, is going to be the Party Smart Tailgate is kind of what we're calling it. So it's in partnership with Student Health and Wellness and ISU PD. So we're doing a couple different events on Thursdays before home games. We're going to be giving out some swag, some food, playing some music, and some long games, and educating about how students can enjoy a Cyclone game day and do so safely. And if they do choose to consume alcohol, how they can get home safely and also keep them and their friends safe and do so responsibly. So if you are interested, it does count as an outreach credit. You can sign up on the MIS, or if you just have a block in your schedule, pop by, just let me know that you're there. I'll fill you in on kind of what to do, and then we'll have a great time. Thank you.
Any questions for health and wellness? Seeing none, we'll move on to comments from our judicial branch.
I don't have much tonight. I'm hopefully getting a new person on the branch for the court. He's very qualified. Seems like a really good fit. So think it'd be good for you all to approve him.
Questions for our judicial branch? Seeing none, we'll move on to comments from our advisor.
Hello, everyone. Happy 5th week of classes. I finally figured out what week it was. I just wanted to tell you a few things. The MU grand opening for floors 4 through 6 is this Friday. If you have time to drop by, in the Great Hall now. Also, if you're interested, Student Engagement is putting on the Leaders Workshop series. So if you are wanting to get information on creating and updating constitutions, how to start a student organization, about the demonstration safety team or transition organizations, those are all the rest of the events that are happening this fall. You can find all of the information on the Student Engagement website, and it'll be really great information. So if you need anything, please feel free to send me an email. I'm more than happy to meet and have would like to have. So have a good meeting.
Any questions for our advisor? Seeing none, we will now hear comments from the executive branch with your 69th student body president, Jacob C. Ludwig.
Good evening. All right, just got a couple quick updates this week. Last Thursday, Jaden and I went to the Board of Regents meeting at UNI. We got there an hour ahead of schedule because I thought it started an hour before it did. So we got to hang out on the UNI campus for a while. They have a Campanile as well. It's not as cool as ours. But regardless, we met with the Board of Regents and got to talk with them for about an hour on a number of different issues, from housing to student workers, and then in particular mental health. That was a big focus of the meeting for us. And in the meeting, we asked the board to kind of provide any additional resources that they could, and we're really excited to share that as a result of that meeting, the board added $1 million to their proposed budget for the next year for mental health resources at the 3 institutions. So really excited about that and ready to go work to make sure that request becomes a reality at the legislature in the spring. On Friday, we met with Senior Vice President Toya Younger. We spoke about food security, student engagement on campus these first couple of weeks. And then there is a Jack Trice Memorial Committee. This year, in October, will mark the 99th year since Jack Trice died. And over the course of this next year, there's going to be a lot of events commemorating Jack Trice, his life and his time on campus. And so they are looking for a student representative on that committee. So if you're interested in serving on that committee, preferably if you're around for next year as well, just reach out to me. I'd love to get you connected with that. There's a lot of awesome events coming down the way. in memory of Jack Trice. So I think it'll be a lot of fun and a great way to give back to the community. Jade and I also went to the athletic director's reception on Friday, where they shared a lot of the successes over the last year in the athletics department, how great our Cyclone athletic teams have been doing. They also shared the outline for Sci-Town with the donors at that event. Honestly, the next three things that I'm going to talk about really were just meetings about Sci-Town, which there was, Sci-Town was officially publicly announced Monday. If you want, you can go online, find the master plan. There's a 30-minute press conference if you're into those kinds of things. And you can kind of read all about it, see the vision that the university has. If you have questions, I know there's a lot of questions about the commuter parking lot. I'd be happy to talk with anyone about that. There's, if you have any concerns regarding that. And then went to President's Council earlier this week, which was another meeting really about Sci-Town. Big thing for the university this week. Had a committee on lectures meeting at the beginning of this week. There we approved a bunch of different lectures, but among them were a series of town halls for candidates on the ballot this November. So if you're interested, go to the lectures program website and you can go to those town halls and speak to the people who are asking for your vote in November. And then yesterday I met with the director of the Memorial Union regarding future developments in the MU, and so there will be some things coming down the pipeline that you all will hear about probably later this semester, early next semester, and we'll get to have some discussions on that. And then I'd like to just hit again that the grand opening of the 4th, 5th, and 6th floor is this Friday. I've heard there are refreshments, so if you're looking for some free snacks and drinks, feel free to swing by and check out the floors. They did a really awesome job up there, and I think it's worth seeing. If you have any questions, let me know.
President Ludwig covered a lot there. Are there any questions for our executive branch? All right, seeing none, we will hop over external matters and jump straight into internal matters, special orders, starting off with 2022-2-014 SC, confirming the nomination of a Supreme Court Justice with Speaker Mahoney.
So as Chief Justice Cecil said earlier, President Ludwig has nominated a Supreme Court Justice. I'll ask him to go to the podium now and let him kind of talk about himself a little bit and why he wants to become a Supreme Court Justice. Please ask questions after he finishes.
From Southeastern, there we go. From Southeastern Community College. I'm transferring in as a physics and applied math major, double major thing. I'm still getting used to that concept. At my previous school, I got in like 5 degrees in physics, chemistry, math, network administration, and just general science stuff. But importantly for like student government and the student body, I got to do special appeals committee where I got to say yay or nay for fines or whether people didn't have to pay their like 10-year-old bill. Just instances like that. I got to do debate club or make the debate clubs there. And then I also got to do like strategic planning as well as student board and many other clubs. I was just trying to be as involved with people as possible to keep me away from just physics. So.
Are there any questions or discussion about our nominee? Speaker Mahoney.
So you're going to get a lot of the same questions you had in Rules Committee, but just for the benefit of the body, essentially. First off, how long, Supreme Court nomination or Supreme Court position is something that you hold in essence for your lifetime, or at least as long as you're a student here at Iowa State. How many years do you at least plan on having left, and would you hold the position for multiple years, essentially?
So as far as I understand, since I am not likely to get kicked off, if that's the case, I plan on being here for 2 to 3 years. That's what both of my advisors have roughly put me at, just because transferring is just confusing enough. I do have an exorbitant amount of credits that transferred over, but it still put me at quasi sophomore junior level. I don't think that I will be doing graduate school here, just because they don't have nuclear engineering from what I understand. But that being the case, 2 to 3 years. If I do like a study abroad, that may extend things. It also depends on the money.
And then the second question I'll ask is, what is your familiarity with our governing documents, Constitution, bylaws, and such, or just in general, kind of working with those sorts of quasi-legal documents?
So I technically read the Constitution as well as I could remember, like the day before y'all interviewed me. And I didn't get to read the bylaws. I just had seen that they were tremendous compared to the Constitution, and I had just pushed it to beyond the last minute. But I do like to read just random things that are related to the law and structure of an organization. And examples of those, I've read almost all the audits of Southeastern Community College for the past 5 years. And so I know like a rough estimate of what they brought in, what people get paid or don't get paid, and then how that relates to how they make decisions in regards to students and so on and so forth. I understand Robert's rules to some extent, as I will mess up. And then I like to refer to as many different documents as possible because articulation is important and you gotta enumerate that.
Thank you.
Senator Keeler.
Yeah, hi. So I know I asked this exact question in rules, but I guess I'm just wondering what made you choose the Supreme Court for the branch of choice?
So it's come to my attention that most people don't know that there's a Supreme Court, and especially since I'm very new. Most people that I tell that there is a Supreme Court and that I'm trying to get onto it are just shocked that we have anything of the sort. I was just looking up student government and seeing how I wanted to be involved. I was just initially looking for city liaison, or however that position is articulated. And I saw that it was filled, so that was good for that person. And then I saw that there was also a Supreme Court position open. And I've interacted with the Capitol quite a bit, and I have always enjoyed law and stuff like that. So I wanted to be involved with as many different things as possible. And the idea that the Supreme Court could handle as many unbiased cases as possible, and be involved with different committees, assuming that we do get to be involved with them. I would like to have that variety in my life without necessarily joining every single one, which is what I would really like to do. So that was my impetus.
Yeah, that was great. I yield.
Is there any other questions or discussion for the nomination of our Supreme Court Justice? Question has been called for and seconded. Is there any objection to voting now? Unanimous consent has been called for. Is there any objection to passing this bill by way of unanimous consent? Congratulations, this motion carries. If I can have our confirmed nominees stay up there, you will be taking our official oath of office.
I solemnly swear or affirm
to execute the duties of my position
to execute the duties of my position
as prescribed in the Constitution and laws of the government
as prescribed in the Constitution or the laws of the government
for the benefit of all students.
for the benefit of all students. Thank you.
Okay.
Congratulations. We will now move on to 2022-2-015SD, confirming the nomination of a CPC Senator. Speaker Mahoney.
Okay, so this is a slightly weird thing we're doing here. But the long story short is that Senator Becker is essentially potentially moving from LAS Senator to CPC Senator.
as we will probably have a better chance of filling the LAS seat. So basically the bill, if we pass it, means she just moves, she keeps her committee seats, we don't have to do an oath of office, anything like that. She just changes titles essentially. But
Just to clarify real quick, that CPC kind of sent out a form and was like, open seat, who wants it? No response. So given that LAS is poli-sci, we figured that there would be a lot of interest in the LAS seat, and we actually already have one guy who is like trying to apply right now as we speak. So if I just switch over, then we won't have either seat vacant.
So currently, I mean, she won't be reconfirmed in the traditional manner, but I guess is there any discussion or questions while she's up there? Question has been called for, and there is a second. Is there any objection to voting now? Unanimous consent has been called for. Is there any objection by passing this bill by way of unanimous consent? Seeing none, congratulations, Madeline. This motion passes. We will move on to 2022-2-016 SG, seating an at-large to the Local Affairs Committee with Vice Speaker Bruick.
Do you want me to yield to you? Okay. The nominee could approach the podium. And then if you could just tell us, a little bit about yourself and then why you're interested in the position and any plans you may have for their position.
All right. Can you all hear me all right? Awesome. All right. Well, yeah, tonight I'd just like to give you a brief overview of kind of my interest in the Local Affairs Committee so that you can have a better sense of where I'm coming from and my views on the position. I'll try to keep it fairly brief so that way you can ask me any questions that you choose afterwards and, we can address things that way. My name is Quinn Margret. I'm a freshman honors student studying business economics, and I have a long-standing passion for policy, local government, things of that nature. And that's what prompted me to look for opportunities in student government to begin with. But equally importantly, I'm a resident of Ames for about 16 years. And so over my time here, I've taken advantage of our great park system. I volunteered for the public library. I've done research projects on our infrastructure and water quality, things like that. I've enjoyed our public transportation, been involved with the school district and nonprofits, and all sorts of stuff like that. And all that is to say is that I'm a pretty big fan of Ames and what Ames has to offer. In fact, this community here is a pretty large factor of why I attended Iowa State University as opposed to other universities. So with that being said, I believe two things. Firstly, that it takes genuine participation to uphold that sort of quality community, and that we continue to need new and diverse voices in our community and local government in order to make these opportunities sustainable. And so in high school, I ran a nonpartisan political participation club with the goal of getting students more involved in the political civic process in Story County. And I extensively volunteered alongside groups like 4-H, United Way, Story County Conservation, things like that, because we as students have a responsibility to well represent ourselves and our input. Secondly, I understand how deeply ISU and Ames are intertwined. So we depend on one another for everything from transportation, obviously, to funding, special social functions, stuff like that, which is another part of why student involvement in Story County is so critical, be it in nonprofits or volunteer roles or government or student clubs, because student input makes more of a difference than we might realize. I'm applying for this committee because while community involvement might not be new to me, it unfortunately is for so many other students, especially here on campus. Students still acclimating to Ames or who aren't familiar with what Ames has to offer, students who are scared off from voting in November because they're unfamiliar with all the names on the ballot. I'm seeking membership as a tool to provide ways for students to engage, volunteer, and be politically active in Story County. It's a cause that I'm very passionate about personally. I'm very much looking forward to hopefully advancing it as a part of student government. So with that brief explanation, I'd love to open it up for any questions that you all may have about my experience or my vision for my role in the Local Affairs Committee. Thank you.
The floor is open. Senator Keeler.
Yeah, hi. So if I have it correctly, one of the requirements of being on local affairs committee is that you have to join some sort of board in the city of Ames. I guess I'm wondering if you have an idea of which one you'd be interested in.
So that's correct, and I'm actually in talks right now to join ASSET, Story County's Analysis of Social Services Evaluation Team, and that's where I'm sure many of you are familiar, obviously, but that's where we disseminate a lot of funding from student government. And so I'm in talks for joining that, but that, of course, is contingent on my at-large membership tonight.
Okay, thank you. I yield.
Question has been called for and seconded. Is there any objection to voting now? Unanimous consent has been called for. Is there any objection by passing this bill by way of unanimous consent? Seeing none, congratulations. This motion carries.
Thank you.
We will now start 2022-2-017 SC, confirming the nomination of our election vice commissioner with Speaker Mahoney.
So, election commission has 2 seats, I believe, that we see and confirm. One of those being the commissioner, one of those being the vice commissioner that we're seeing tonight. Election commission voted on Alex Almquist here, and we are now potentially confirming him. So I will let him speak.
All right, good evening, everyone. My name is Alex Almquist. I'm a junior studying political science, and I would like to be your vice election commissioner. I believe that college is a time for people to start to get engaged in their community, and I believe a big part of being engaged is student government. So I would like to ensure that every student can vote in the student government elections and voice their concerns, and I will help protect our democratic process and continue to have an inclusive environment where every student has the same ability to run and win a student government election, no matter their background or opinion. And I will also work as a partner to student government, guiding and asking where necessary.
The floor is open for any questions or discussion there might be. Speaker Mahoney.
I already know the answer to this, but for the benefit of the body, what previous experience do you have with election commission?
I served on election commission as a voting member last semester and then as a non-voting member before that semester.
You yield. Senator Keeler.
I guess I'm just wondering if you have any specific projects or ideas that you'd like to see happen in election commission?
Not any big projects, but just continued transparency in the election process. Suppose outreach events for students to get more active in voting, increase voter turnout.
Okay, thank you. I yield.
Senator Yonting.
In your own words, could you explain the roles and responsibility of vice?
Vice Commissioner? Vice Commissioner oversees the election commissioner, or election commission when the election commissioner is either not present. Just the Vice Commissioner oversees our election code, our election process.
Vice Speaker Bruick.
Hi, Alex. So I just had a question. So one of the big duties of the Vice Commissioner is chairing the Violations Committee. And I was just wondering, as, chairing a committee that, is going to hear aspects of, controversial cases, do you commit yourself to, being impartial in those situations and to, if necessary, recusing yourself if you're unable to render an impartial judgment in such a situation?
Yes, I believe that student government's a place for everybody to voice their own opinions, but of course, if that opinion is violent in rhetoric, of course, I'm not going to support that. But, opinions that are safe for everyone, I will be impartial to.
Thank you.
Question has been called for and seconded. Is there any objection to voting now? Unanimous consent has been called for. Is there any objection to passing this bill by way of unanimous consent? Seeing none, the motion carries. If I could have the confirmed nominees stay up there, we'll have an official oath of office.
Thank you.
Never mind, you're good to go.
Thank you.
We will start our final business of the night, 2022-2-018 SG, seating a senator to Public Relations Committee with Vice Speaker Bruick.
1 second, sorry, I'm doing the thing, 1 sec. All right, cool. Sundar, if you want to approach the podium. So Sundar has been, nominated for the PR committee. So we'll let him talk a little bit about his interests and, yeah.
Good evening, everyone. For those of you that don't know me, I'm Sundar Shivraj. I'm majoring in computer science with a minor in data science. And 2 big reasons why I want to join PR. One, I love outreach, and I've been doing marketing for quite a few years with clubs and different things on and around campus. And second off, I love student government, so I feel like that should speak for itself. In the past, I have had an internship and a part-time job at a radio station doing social media marketing and analytics. So consider myself fairly learned, and have done some videography on the side as just a particular hobby of mine. Don't have any particular projects or things that I have in mind, but looking forward to hopefully being able to put my best foot forward and bring some creative originality.
Is there any objection to voting now? Seeing none, we will move into a vote. All those in unanimous consent has been called for. Is there any objection to voting now? Or passing this bill by way of unanimous consent? Seeing none, congratulations. This motion carries. We will now start new business with our only bill of the night, 2022-2-004F, funding Pakistan Student Association with Senator Patel.
Hi, everyone. Sorry, just had to make sure. Hi, everyone. So this is a bill that Pakistan Student Association is requesting, which will be on the floor next week. Just they want to promote, or they want to advocate for the losses for the recent flood in Pakistan, along with host ICC World Cup, and as well as Pakistan Founders Day, Eid, Malal, and like a couple of other like to promote culture, celebrate tradition, and share their history. So, yeah.
Are there any questions of intent for Senator Patel? Seeing none, we'll move into closing announcements. I have two real quick. I just wanted to thank everyone who came out to the local foods festival on Central Campus today. I saw several of your faces as well as Sophie. It was a great time. I think we had a huge success. So that was fun. There's also a small business fair coming up where student and alumni-owned businesses will be there, obviously promoting themselves. There's more information on the whiteboard in the student government office. And then you're not in trouble, but if Senator Patel, Slater, just you two could see me after the meeting, that'd be great. If there's any other closing announcements, let's hear them. Our advisor.
Hello, I'm so sorry. I totally forgot. But if you are a chief officer or the ex officio for the City of Council of Ames, if you could stay after the meeting, I would greatly appreciate that. Or Vice Commissioner Almquist, I'd also appreciate that. Thank you.
Senator Holliday.
Hey everyone, Cal Senator doing Cal Senator things, but next week is Cal's week, woo! So Monday is the Mr. Cal's event that our very own Vice President Ulrich will be participating in. So I highly suggest that everybody comes out to watch and support him. It'll be a ton of fun. I currently have tickets with me for sale for $5, or you can buy at the door for $5 as well. There'll no price increase or anything. And then Tuesday next week is the Cal's Olympics, so we are still looking for one more participant to join our team. Currently, it is myself, as well as Senator Slater and Finance Director Claiborne. So if there is one more student government person that is from the College of Ag that would like to join, message me, talk to me afterwards. Yeah, so if you see free food on campus next week, even if you're not part of CALS, go check it out. There'll be lots of tabling from different clubs. So yeah, hope to see you all enjoying CALS week.
Seeing no other placards, we will, Vice Speaker Berwick.
Hey gang, so yeah, I thank Senator Holliday for shutting out CALS week. We obviously just funded them a little bit last week. So, you know, good to see our dollars going somewhere. Go check it out, support it. Pretty cool. This next apologies to Senator Thornton. Brace yourself for this one. It's softball. It was a valiant effort. Valiant effort on Monday night against another team whose name I will not say. But despite a valiant effort, the Ludwig Lovers were defeated 5 runs to 28.
Why do you have to say it?
For that, that's why. Okay. It was a rough one, but it was a good time. It was good times. So yeah, I don't know when the next game is. I think they're still making the bracket for like the playoffs. But once I do, I'll find a way to let y'all know, and you can come out. You can join if you want to stay for the slaughter. And yeah, with that, I turn it over to Speaker Mahoney.
No, please, we need more talent. There will be no slaughter next week. The Ludwig lovers will hold up to our president. Please join us.
Before I go,
yeah, Jeanette.
For the benefit of the body, I'm wondering who is carrying the team? Like who's making all the runs? Yeah. I'm curious.
Any danger? Coach Bruick will take that question.
I am. First, can I just say I've never once been, a coach at a press conference answering questions about my team performance. So big first. I'd say it was a team effort all around. I think we did I think a couple good plays. Shout out and President of the Senate Ulrichs for some good plays on the defensive end, and then just good plate discipline, drawing walks, and good batters in general from the whole team. So a lot to be, obviously there's issues we can be disappointed about some stuff, but we almost doubled our run total from the first game. So there's a lot to be proud of.
Oh my Lord.
No further questions. I'll be turning it over to Speaker Mahoney.
And now I feel bad being actually serious with some of my closing announcements. Okay, a couple quick things. Senators, if you aren't in a committee yet, please come talk to me or Vice President Ulrich. We can help you find a committee. It is part of your duties as a senator, and there's a lot of fun options. Two things, these are kind of joint. If you are writing a bill, please try to have it to me by about midnight on Monday. I try to do the agendas between midnight and 5 p.m. on Tuesday, so somewhere on Tuesday morning, Tuesday afternoon is when I'm going to get the agendas out. And I hate writing like 7 bills on Tuesday. So please try to have bills and nominations of anybody you want ahead of time, so I'm not finding out after I send the agenda out and we keep having to amend the agenda. Last two things. I know a couple people have talked to me about a couple different things, but I just want to throw it out there as I am, and the Rules Committee is going to start talking about some of these major changes that we want to see with kind of how the bylaws are structured and like some of the big open questions with student government. If you have anything that you want changed about student government, almost just in general, please let me know, and we can kind of start having that conversation and make sure that it's on our radar with things. Last thing, if you have friends that are wanting to join student government, we obviously have lots of at-large positions within committees. We also still have 2 human sciences seats, 1 vet med seat, 1 res hall seat, and 2 UROC seats off campus. So if you have friends that want to get involved, lots of options still. So please let people know. With that, move to adjourn, go Cyclones.
Go Cyclones, this meeting is adjourned.